Are you just sick and tired of all that financial advice out there? The kind that feels like you need a PhD just to understand it? Yeah, you're told to pick stocks, time the market, chase the next hot trend. It's exhausting. Well, this book will completely change how you think about wealth. Today, we're breaking down The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. So, what if the secret isn't some complex strategy? The big promise of this book is exactly that. It says the real path to financial freedom is all about radical simplicity. Seriously, it's for anyone out there who wants to build real wealth, but, doesn't want to make it their full-time job. It just cuts through all the noise and gives you a plan that's super straightforward and powerful. So let's get into its core philosophy. Okay, so here's what's really cool about this book. It didn't start as a book at all. It was actually a series of letters the author, J.L. Collins, wrote to his daughter. He just wanted to boil down everything she'd ever need to know about money into a simple, actionable guide. For people who have better things to do than stare at stock charts all day long. And when I say simple, I mean it. His entire philosophy, the whole thing, boils down to these 3 steps. That's it. No complicated formulas, no Wall Street jargon. Just spend less than you earn, invest what's left over, and avoid debt like the plague. Collins basically says that if you can just nail these 3 things, you are on an almost guaranteed path to becoming wealthy. It's that straightforward. All right, so let's tackle that first big enemy on the path, debt. And let me tell you, Collins has a very strong view on this. He compares debt to being covered in leeches, just slowly, quietly sucking your financial life away. In his world, debt isn't just a nuisance. It's a full-blown emergency that you need to attack with everything you've got. And it's an emergency that a lot of us are in. I mean, when this book was written, Americans were carrying around $12 trillion in consumer debt. That number is just staggering. See, we're constantly sold this idea that debt is totally normal. You need it for a car, for school, for pretty much everything. But Collins argues that's the single biggest anchor holding people back from true wealth. And when you look at it, the choice between these 2 paths couldn't be clearer, right? On one side, you've got a life with debt. You're basically a slave to your job, you're constantly stressed, and a chunk of your hard-earned money is just vanishing into interest payments. But on the other path, the debt-free path, that's freedom, that's options. That's your entire income working for you, not for the bank. Getting rid of debt isn't just a numbers game, it's the first, absolutely crucial step toward that freedom. And that freedom? Well, that brings us to maybe the most famous and honestly most powerful idea in the whole book. See, the goal isn't just retirement in that old school waiting till you're 65 sense. The real goal, the ultimate prize, is what Collins bluntly calls FU money. So what exactly is FU money? Look, it's not some specific number on a spreadsheet. It's something way more powerful. It's having enough money saved and invested that you can walk away from any situation you don't want to be in. A toxic job, a terrible boss, a project that goes against your values, you can just say no. It is quite literally the power to control your own time and your own life. And this isn't just some theory for Collins. He actually lived it. Get this, at just 25 years old, after only 2 years of working, he had saved up $5,000. Now, that might not sound like a fortune, but when his boss denied him unpaid leave, that $5,000 was enough for him to quit on the spot and go travel through Europe. That early taste of freedom, it totally shaped his entire financial outlook for the rest of his life. Okay, so you're avoiding debt. You're aiming for that FU money level of freedom. The next big question is, how do you actually build the wealth to get there? Well, once again, Collins throws complexity out the window. He says you don't need a whole arsenal of fancy investments. Nope. You just need one simple, incredibly powerful weapon. And that weapon? It's the good old index fund. The idea here is simple. Forget trying to be a stock-picking genius. An index fund lets you buy the entire market in one single click. You instantly own a tiny little slice of thousands of companies, the big established giants, the next up-and-comers, all bundled together in one low-cost package. And Collins doesn't just talk in generalities, he gets super specific. He points to one fund in particular, Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, or VTSAX. He basically says this is the only investment most people will ever need. Why just this one? Because by owning this single fund, you are literally tying your financial future to the entire engine of American business and innovation. You're betting on the whole team, not just one player. So why does this super simple one fund strategy actually work so well over the long haul? Collins breaks it down into 3 key reasons. First, the stock market is self-cleansing. What does that mean? Well, bad companies eventually go out of business and they get replaced by new, innovative ones. You don't have to pick the winners. The index does it for you. Second, yeah, there are scary crashes, but the market's long-term trend is relentlessly, historically up. And third, and this is huge, the fees are incredibly low, which means more of your money actually stays in your pocket, working for you. So there you have it. That's the simple path. It's powerful, it's super straightforward, but is it perfect? Let's get into our take and the mission we have for you. Look, the absolute beauty of this book is its simplicity. It's so empowering because it tells you, hey, you can do this yourself. You don't need some expensive advisor. But here's the Fatter Wallet's take. We think the book seriously downplays just how psychologically brutal it is to watch your life savings drop by, say, 30 or 40% in a market crash, and then do absolutely nothing. That takes nerves of solid steel. Also, going 100% into stocks is pretty aggressive, and that might not be the right move for everyone, especially if you're getting closer to needing that money. All right, so with all that in mind, here is your simple mission, and you can start on this today. First, calculate your savings rate. Seriously, figure out what percentage of your income you can actually set aside to invest. Second, confront your debt. Make a list of every single dollar you owe, and then make a plan to attack that high-interest debt first. And third, and this is a big one, start reframing how you think about spending. Every dollar you spend today isn't just a dollar gone. Think of it as the opportunity cost, all the money that dollar could have earned for you over the next few decades. You know, the ideas in this book are so powerful because they're simple, not in spite of it. So the real question it leaves you with is this. Are you ready to ignore all the noise, all the complexity, and just commit to the simple path? Thanks for watching Fatter Wallets Reads. Don't forget to subscribe and visit fatterwallets.com for more tools, lessons, and insights to help you on your Fatter Wallets journey.